Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Sophia and today I'm bringing you the second installment in my series about Slido. Now Slido has been around for a while, but they have a new interface and in this three-part series we are going to discover it together. In the first video, we look at how we can create your Slido and how to personalize it. That video is now linked to the top of the screen if you want to check it out. Right, we are now in your Slido and under my interactions you can see the different options. I'd like to pause here and let you know that the chat functionality was removed a few years ago. So if you're looking for an audience engagement platform with a chat function, Slido might not be the best option. So going back to the interactions, we're going to add audience Q&A. And just before I go into the details, let me open the participant mode. This is a great feature because you can see how Slido works for your participants. So your Q&A function is now open and under the Q&A settings, we have a couple of options for review. When moderation is on, that means you can review the incoming questions before making them live to the audience. Let me submit a few test questions now. As you can see, when a question is submitted, it is added to the In Review list. This means you can now decide whether to approve or dismiss the question. Once you approve it, the question moves automatically to the list of published questions on the right-hand side, and now everyone who joined your Slido can see it. If you have the job of moderating, I recommend you highlight a question when that one is being addressed. You can see how it looks like highlighted here in the participant view. And then I would mark it as answered once that question has been addressed. If you wish, you can also archive a question. If we open the present mode, you'll be able to see the highlighted questions, the most popular ones, as well as the latest question at the bottom. For this example, I don't have a lot of questions in, but it gives you a good idea of how it will look like. Back to the Q&A settings, in addition to moderation, there are other options here you might find useful to use. You can allow participants to reply to questions, which I think can really contribute to more fluid conversations. Also, Slido has recently added an option to downvote questions, and this is a feature I'm not too sure about. But do know that upvoting questions, liking questions, is still a feature that is available and is here to stay. Now, for the fun part of Slido, the polls or interactions. We are going to explore these together, but they just do exactly what says in the tin. Let's start with multiple choice. This is essentially a single poll question that has multiple predetermined answers that participants can choose from. It's worth having a quick look at the poll settings because you can customize your poll question and just make sure that it is behaving as you would like. Now, when you're ready to launch your poll, you can simply just click in Start Interaction. Here you can see what the participant will see, and I'll just enter an answer. And this is the present mode view. Now let's add a word cloud. Word cloud turns open text responses into a cloud of words, whose size will depend on how many times the same words have been submitted by the participants. Again, do check your poll settings to customize your poll, but for this word cloud we have the question here, what one word comes to mind when you think of magic? And I'm just going to enter a couple of questions so you can see how it looks like. Now, I am the only participant in the word cloud, so the look of this poll it's not as dramatic as it could be. But here are some examples I found online. Up next, we have open text, which gives participants the opportunity to submit free text with no character limit. So I've just added an example here, and this is my question. I'm going to make this poll live, as you can see here, and then in the participant view, I'm going to enter an answer. So on this occasion, I'm going to say caffeinato, instantly brews the perfect coffee. So here is in the back end, and then here in the present mode. Let's now have a look at ranking. This is a single poll question where participants can rank options in order of importance or preference. Again, participants will be presented with pre-populated answers. They will be ranking. So I've just added a ranking question, a couple of examples. So let's start this interaction, and let me come here to the participant view where I'm going to submit my answers. And I'm also showing you in present mode. Rating is another great poll where participants can give a rating between 2 and 10 stars or between 2 and 10 emojis. So this is our example here. How magical has this tutorial been so far? And here is how it looks in the participant view. I'm gonna give it 5 stars, of course, and here you've got it in the present mode. And now, last but not least, we can set up a quiz on Slido where you can test the participants' knowledge and provide scores at the end. Let's have a go with 2 questions. So our first question is, which famous wizard said, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if only one remembers to turn on the light?" You can change how much time you give participants to answer each question, and don't forget to mark the correct answer. And now we continue our quiz. So let's add a second question here. Which of the following is not a real spell from the Harry Potter universe? I think they could all be, but let's have a look. We've got a couple of options for answers here. Let's mark again the correct one. Let's now start this interaction. You may need to wait for everyone to join. And then it will be finally time to launch your first question. Once time is up, you click in Reveal the Answer. And here it is in present mode. You can see the correct answer is marked in green. Now you move on to the next question where we follow the same process. Time is up, we reveal the answer. At the end of your quiz, you can reveal the final leaderboard and congratulate the winner. You may have already noticed there's another interaction called survey. The interactions or polls we have reviewed in this video can only be live one at a time. A survey, on the other hand, allows the participants to answer multiple questions at the same time. I have just been populating 2 questions, as you can see here, and a couple of options, and now I'm going to start this interaction. And now, in the participant mode, you can see the 2 questions appearing live at the same time, and I'm allowed to answer them at the same time as well. When it comes then to share the answers live, you will need to individually do it, as I am doing now. So we can see in the present mode the results for the first question, and now we can set it up so that we can see in the present mode the results for the second question. This is all we have time for today, but thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you find it relevant and helpful. If you have any questions, do let me know down below and I'll get back to you. See you soon for part 3.